Hi, and welcome back to December reading vlog, week 3, my third reading vlog ever. It is the last week of the school year, so excited about that. I just said the last week of the school year, if only. The last week of the calendar year before winter break. So, I mean, there is a last week in there. Be that as it may, I haven't actually done a lot of reading today on Sunday, so I'm just gonna film the intro for the upcoming week. It'll be a Monday through Sunday video. So it'll also feature a change of location because on Saturday we are going down to Hilton Head for our Christmas week vacation. So the vlog this week will end there. Next week, I'm not sure if I will do a vlog or not. I think I would like to try, but at the end of that week on actual Christmas Eve, my cousin and I are driving down to Universal and we're going to spend Christmas at Hogwarts. So I'm really excited about that. Might actually do a reading vlog combined with some at Hogwarts stuff. So that's what's coming up this week. I really want to get into more reading, so I have a fairly ambitious TBR here, but I will say I don't know if I'm going to get through as many because, again, it is the last week before before winter break, and there's just a lot that goes on school weeks, and I'm reading more of the YA list, YA Goodreads Choice Awards list, so those are a little bit bigger, a little bit chunkier, so it would take a little while to get through. So I have 5 books on the list that I would like to get through for sure. And then all those books over there, if I finish, those are coming next. So first off, I have already started this one, and that is Ground Zero by Gratz. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. I'll give a further update on that when I finish it. Last of my middle grades books until the other 2 come in from the library, who knows when that'll be, is Unplugged by Korman. I anticipate this also being a quick read. Then this book is not on either list, but I've had it for a while and I've renewed it twice because I had it checked out before. I changed up my TBR in November, so I can't renew it more than twice, so I'm going to read it. And that is The Bone Shard Daughter. Now, I've heard really good things about this, but it is fairly substantial and it will take me a little while to get through. So I decided to start my reading on the YA list, apart from the ones I've already done, with How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories. This is a smaller one, but it is one of the Holly Black series that I can't remember, but Queen of Nothing. I really enjoyed that series, so I know that I will enjoy this. And then lastly, on the ones that I 100% hope to get to this week, and that is The Ones We Are Meant to Find by Joan. From what I've heard, this is it's a bit of sci-fi, it's a bit of speculative. I don't know too much about this, so it might not be my style, but I'm excited to give it a shot. All right, it is Tuesday evening, so I didn't do that much reading on Sunday at all, which is unusual, but I was getting a lot of other stuff done, so I didn't have anything to update about yesterday. Last night, though, I did finish Ground Zero by Gratz. I think this is a typical outing for him. It is a dual perspective. You have the perspective of Braden, who is 9 years old and goes with his father to work because he got suspended from school, and his father manages Windows on the World. So his father works in the Twin Towers and he gets suspended on September 11th, 2001. So it alternates from Braden's perspective with Rashmina's perspective, and Rashmina is, I believe, approximately 11 years old, and she is an Afghani girl with a twin brother, Passoon, and a few other siblings, including an older sister who was killed by a drone strike on her wedding day. And this has altered their lives, and Rashmina and Passoon respond differently to this. Rashmina is now faced with the fact that there is an attack near their village, and one of the Americans survives the attack and is able to make it back to their house but they're in danger if the Taliban finds out, because the Taliban would kill their entire village. As is typical with Alan Gratz books, so refugee, the one I remember, he had 3 perspectives, 3 different refugees in there, and by the end, he ties them all together in a very pleasing way, a way that you think, okay, this is believable. And I knew from the outset how Gratz was going to combine the perspectives of Braden and Rashmina, because Braden's perspective takes place in 2001 and Rashmina takes place in 2019. One of the things that I like that he discusses is Rashmina's response to the American soldier, to Taz, about Taz thinking we're the good guys, we're doing the good thing, but then she lays out for him, really isn't the good thing. Look what you're doing to our village, to our lives, to our country. I thought that was an interesting perspective to bring up. Even though I think this was a decent outing, I don't think that Gratz really resolved anything. It's great that he brought it up, but I don't think he resolved anything. So I think I am going to give this book 4 stars, but I might give it 3.75. Obviously Goodreads won't let me do that, but I will give it 3.75 on Storygraph, probably give it 4 on Goodreads. So I picked up Unplugged, which is the last in the middle grades books that I need to read that I have access to. There are 2 on order. I know how to count. From my library, so I don't know when I'll get those, but obviously I'll include those in a reading vlog. I'm not really impressed by Unplugged with the first chapter that I read. It seems like the main character is a spoiled rich brat. Those characters are really hard to make sympathetic, and if you want a reader to enjoy the book, there's got to be a way that you can make them sympathetic in some semblance. Now, it was the first chapter, but it does seem like the main character is a spoiled rotten brat. So we'll see how that goes. After Unplugged, I'll pick up the Bone Shard Daughter and then get back into the YA fantasy books. Those are huge. Those are huge. I hope I'm able to get through all of those, but I don't know if I will. So now I'm going to go wrap up some stuff, hopefully be able to get to more reading tonight so that I can make a dent in that massive pile back there. I am popping in on a Wednesday. I haven't read that much more of Unplugged. I have read enough to know that Gordan Korman alternates between 2 other perspectives, and those perspectives, characters' names I've forgotten, but those perspectives are much more tolerable. Jet, the spoiled rich kid, is still very much a spoiled rich kid. Don't like it. Having those other perspectives in there makes it more tolerable. Now, before I get back to puzzling, doing my advent calendar, I wanted to show some things that I got. So I subscribe to the Wizarding Trunk, which is an excellent subscription. I subscribe to both their quarterly subscription and their bi-monthly subscription. And this month they did the Order in the Army, which is things from the Order of the Phoenix and things from Dumbledore's Army. First of which is this shirt. I love it so much. It's a little bit awkward angle because I had to put it on. They have a bar rag and beer mug from the Hog's Head. It is a little cloudy, but I still like it because it's from the Hog's Head. I've got to be quick because my battery is dying. But I've got this gorgeous Phoenix figurine. I've got a pensive vial. So cool. I have an Order of the Phoenix badge. The coin, the galleon, in a nice protective case. I've got a key to the Room of Requirement. They have a series of keys, and yes, the Room of Requirement doesn't require a key, but this is still cool. Got sorry, that made a lot of noise. Got a badge, which is the quote from Kingsley Shacklebolt, when the ministry has fallen, and it's got his Patronus on there. So cool. I've got another book cover. Now, I haven't read the screenplay that this goes on, but I'll unroll it then. And I just absolutely love what the Wizarding Drunk has done with this. So I will probably finish Unplugged tonight, although it was a little bit more difficult to read than I expected just because I wasn't into it. I'll probably finish that tonight, and I'm gonna do some more puzzling, watch some booktube, and then hopefully check in tomorrow with my final thoughts. So it is Thursday, and I am vlogging from my kitchen, my puzzle space. I need to work on a project. I'll just leave it at that. And I am going to, I actually just realized I left my phone in the other room. I'm going to listen to The Ones We Were Meant to Find. I tried to get an audiobook of Bone Shard Daughter, but it wasn't working. And that was the one that was available. So I'm doing that one as an audiobook. It's my first audiobook in a while. I'm not 100% certain about this particular narrator, but I did see that I think that it is a full cast, but we'll see on that one. But to get some reading done while I finish this project, I am going to listen to that audiobook. So I do want to update you on Unplugged. I finished that last night. I unplugged that book. No thanks, not for me. I think that out of the 20, that one was the worst. Even the Best Nerds Forever, it had a coherent story. It was decent, just a bit blasé and with that weird ending. I think that one's gonna get 1 star, and I hate that. Maybe, I don't know. So there's a deal where these kids, they're at a wellness thing. The spoiled rich kid is there because he's supposed to, I don't know, reform. And there's a girl who's really in love with the, not in love, but really in love with the ideas, really admires the ideas of the founder of this wellness retreat. And then there's another kid who is supposedly her friend, whose parents are all about diets, but that they're not fat, but they're just all about diets, and that's why they're there. But he's supposed to be her friend, and there was one line where she talks about him, and I'm like, what? You're supposed to be friends. I don't get that. But there's this whole thing where there's a no pet policy, but they find who they call Nibbles, I think? Nibble Biter? I don't remember. They find it, that's this lizard creature, and they're trying to take care of it, and they're trying to keep it a secret, but then it gets out. But there's also like this supposed backstory with one of the adults at the camp not doing great. So the animal thing lasts for about 60% of the book, and then it's done. And it was the main focus of the book, and then you're supposed to care about this adult thing that it shifts to, and it just did not work. None of the resolutions were great. I didn't like it. I hope that The Ones We Were Meant to Find is better, but that does mean that I am done with the middle grades books, except for the 2 that I have at the library and the one that I was not able to get to because my library does not have a copy, not coffee. Speaking of coffee, I'm making some coffee. So I'm gonna finish making my coffee. I'm gonna get some work done on here. By the way, this is my new hydro jug. I saw Olivia Reads a Latte talk about these, and I really need to get drinking more water, and this is just, it's just super cute. I mean, no one actually needs a water bottle that big, but it's got a carrier thing that like you can like crossbody, and it's got a straw. I love straws. Anyway, gotta get to work. So check in later. So this is the last clip in front of the tree in this particular video. And I haven't finished either of the 2 books that I'm reading right now, but I obviously have some thoughts. Otherwise I wouldn't be updating. I am, as I mentioned yesterday, reading this book on audiobook, and it's one of the first audiobooks that I've read in a while. I did listen to The Hobbit, narrated by Andy Serkis. Amazing. I'm not the biggest fan of this narrator, but I'm mildly intrigued by the story, trying to figure out what's going on between these 2 different narratives, between the 2 different characters. It is sci-fi, it is dystopian. And I went through a phase where I was really into dystopian books. I'm not in that phase anymore. So that part of it doesn't click with me. It doesn't engage me. It doesn't turn me off to it, but it's not my favorite. I am obviously keeping going, trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to solve this? How are we going to bring these two narrations together? How are things going to be explained? It's right now sitting at about a 3-star read for me, which is average. Not bad, not great. We will see. I think I'm in chapter 12. I think I just started chapter 12. So it's about a third of the way, maybe about 40-ish% through. So I probably will finish listening to this on the way down to the beach today. So I should technically be packing. I'm sort of packing. As you can see over here, there are stacks of things that are ready, but I haven't put them into anything yet. The other book that I started last night, and that is The Bone Shard Daughter. So first, I want to show this cute little bookmark. It's a metal bookmark that one of my students got me for Christmas. It doesn't have really anything to do with reading except for that it's a bookmark. And it says, I don't know if you can read it because of the glare, but it says, thank you for helping me grow and learn. And this is actually a student that I got to teach last year as well. I normally teach 7th grade, but last year I taught 6th and 8th. Yeah, that was fun. It has a little open book on the end. So I think that's really cute. Now, I'm barely into this at all, but I love it. I am hooked from, the very beginning of it. So I cannot wait to get further into this. Hopefully once we arrive at the beach, I'll be able to finish this. So that's where I am on my reading. I've actually downloaded the audiobooks. I've checked out the audiobooks for a few more books on my list. 3 more of them to be exact. So I hope to mix and match listening to the audiobooks and the actual books throughout this week. And I'm really excited because I want to read all the books, and it's actually a little bit nerve-wracking because I want to read all the books, listen to all the books, listen to all of the podcasts, watch all the booktube. There are only so many hours in the day. Next time you see me, I will be at the beach. Hey, so obviously new background, rather nondescript background. That's the closet. Really interesting. I'll probably find a different place to film some of the other updates, but we have arrived at the beach and the trip down was just enough time to listen to and finish the ones we left behind. Wow, the rest of it really took it way up in my estimation. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was really slow at first. I couldn't see how the author was going to bring things together with Casey and with C. And then it also, at one point on the ride down, I'm like, wait a second, I got 4 hours, not 4 hours, I've got 2 hours of this audiobook left, and it feels like it's getting to the point where the problem of the plot is being solved. And then it twisted. And after that plot twist, wow, I absolutely loved it. I loved the conundrums brought up by Joan and how she really delved into what makes a person. I also really like the ambiguous ending. I know that some people have not liked that, but I really liked it. And I thought it was perfect for what the author intended with this book. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I was going to. Let me rephrase that. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to, and I'm glad I pushed through even though the narrator still wasn't my favorite. She got better. I got used to it, and I really enjoyed it. So I probably will read a little bit more of Bone Shard Daughter. I read about 50 or so more pages before I went to bed last night, and I'm still really enjoying that. I love Jovis's perspective, so we'll see how things go with that one. So that concludes December week 3 vlog. I haven't finished any more, just showing you the Christmas tree that I brought up for a little bit of festivity. But I haven't finished any more books, but I have gotten super far. I don't know why I said it like that, but I've gotten really far into Fable. I'm about an hour, 20 minutes away from finishing it. I've been listening to it as an audiobook and I love it. I have been drawn in from the beginning to this story. Adrienne Young has done an excellent job with this. I'm so excited that I get to read both Fable and Namesake. I'll be reading Namesake physically, Namesake, because the library doesn't have the audiobook version of that. But I most definitely will finish Fable tomorrow. I likely will also finish Bone Shard Daughter. I got another 150 pages or so in it, and I do find it kind of funny that the two books that I'm ending out this vlog on have sailing as so important in it, at least with Jovis's perspective in the Bone Shard Daughter. But I'm really loving it, and I absolutely adore Mephi. I think it's great. I cannot wait to find out more about that. So I'm excited about all the different books that I got to read this week. I think the only one that I didn't get to that I thought about getting to was How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. I read Fable instead of How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. But I also think how the ones we were meant to find, I didn't have on my original list either. But still pretty successful. I think I had 5 completed books on this week. Can't wait to see how much more I'm gonna get completed next week, Christmas week, which may or may not finish with a little bit of Wizarding World of Harry Potter scenes. Thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you in the next one.